Hey, exit-focused founders. Welcome back to the Freedom to Exit podcast, where we talk about how to build a business that runs without you, scales predictably, and has the potential to sell for top dollar when you're ready. Today's episode, the one thing buyers care about even more than revenue, profit margins. Here's the truth. A $5 million business with 20% profit margins is worth more than a $10 million business with 5% profit margins. And if your financials are a mess, buyers will either walk away or heavily discount their offer. And if you don't understand terms like EBITDA, multiple, seller discretionary earnings, you're walking into a sale negotiation blind. But hear me out. If you don't know those terms, you're not alone. It's not that uncommon. I was speaking to a group of business owners last week, and one of the men who owns several of the big businesses in town didn't know what EBITDA was. I was wearing a shirt that said EBITDA Whisperer, and he asked me, one, how to say it, and two, what it was. The not-for-profit speaker for the day in the room chimed in. That's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. In this episode, we're going to cover why profit matters more than revenue in a sale, how financial housekeeping prevents buyers from lowballing you, and the key financial terms buyers use to value your business so you aren't lost in the conversation. I'll give you some real-world examples of businesses that increased valuation by fixing these two things, and I'll help you find some hidden profit in your business today. If you ever plan to sell your business or just want to be more profitable now, this episode is for you, so let's dive in. Most business owners focus on revenue, but buyers focus on profit. Here's an example. A business doing $5 million in revenue, but $1.5 million in profit or a 30% margin might sell for 5 times profit or $7.5 million. Same total profit, but the high margin business sells for 5 times more. Why? Buyers want predictable profit, not a revenue roller coaster. I had an HVAC owner, Mike, who was doing $10 million and we took that to 12, and he started with a 10% profit and we took that to 30. He wasn't getting many offers and he wanted a $30 million exit at 10x EBITDA. The problem, his margins were too low and buyers weren't interested. So after we helped him cut expenses, eliminate waste, improve efficiency, optimize his sales process, and all of those kinds of things, after a year, his revenue jumped from 10 million to 12 million. Might not seem like a lot, but the net profit skyrocketed from 1 million to 4 million, which gave him 33% margins. Suddenly, buyers were interested at much higher multiples. So here's the thing. If you increase profit margins, your business is worth way more, and you might not even have to grow your revenue too much. So let's break down the 3 most important numbers buyers look at. EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. This is your business's true profitability before taxes and other non-operational expenses are considered. Buyers use EBITDA to determine your multiple. So a business with a $1 million EBITDA at a 5x multiple might sell for $5 million. So you want to know how to increase your EBITDA. You always want to work with your accountant on where things get recorded, above the line or below the line, so that you don't unknowingly decrease your EBITDA. An example is a one-time consultant fee or other divestiture activities would likely not impact your EBITDA if you do it correctly, even though it would decrease your net income in the same time period. But your multiple is likely figured on EBITDA. The next term is seller discretionary earnings, or SDE. If you run personal expenses through the business, like your car, vacations, or meals, that's going to get added back to calculate true earnings. So a business owner showing $200,000 in profit might actually be making $500 in SDE once that everything is added back. This is why cleaning up your financials before selling is so important. You don't want buyers questioning your profit. Anytime there's a question, that's going to, at the worst, turn into a tank deal, and at a minimum, probably a discounted price offer. The next term is valuation multiples. Most small businesses are going to sell for 2 to 5 times EBITDA, or SDE, for smaller businesses. High margin, systemized businesses get higher multiples, 5 to 10x, because these are less risky for buyers. So here's the takeaway. The better your financial clarity, the higher multiple you get. Most businesses have between 5 and 15% of profit hiding in inefficiencies. One example is 25% of marketing budgets are often spent on channels that don't work. but they're not using data or systems to track, so they're doing things that they value or think work, but don't. Repetitive tasks that could be done by AI or automation, poor culture fit employees are costing people money, not shopping terms and pricing with your vendors. So my friend Linus and her husband Rich owned a stucco business. Just in their material budget for one vendor, the terms alone would have saved them 10% of that material budget. So with that one vendor, that was $2.5 million, that would have saved them $250,000 a year if they had just shopped the terms. So shop your terms and shop your prices. Here's how to uncover where some of this may be. Eliminate non-essential expenses like subscriptions and software and office costs. Fix your pricing and your margin leaks. Are you charging what the product is really worth? Cut slow-moving, low-margin products. If there's more revenue somewhere else, put the business there. In the case of Rosie, my baker, she was growing, but cash flow was tight. We looked at her cost of goods sold. I said, Rosie, when's the last time you looked at your cost of goods sold? And she said, well, that means it's been too long. So we pulled it up. And sure enough, the cost of butter had increased considerably. When you're a bakery, the cost of butter is going to drastically impact the price the price to produce, and therefore should be the price to sell. So her pricing was based on old butter that was long gone. We had to reprice that, which brought back the profit almost immediately. But after 12 months of multiple measures, we were able to double her revenue, improve her profit margins, and build a team to replace her along with the financial stability. Now she attends all of the California Angels games, and she takes 3 full vacations a year. The first one, she just went over to Palm Springs for the weekend to test it out. She texted me and she said, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm making money from the cabana. You were right. So this is possible for you too. Now, my client, Mike, told me he couldn't afford to hire a general manager or replace himself or get a real CFO. He's running, at this point, a $12 million company with a bookkeeper and no monthly CFO financial insights. So we ran an expense audit, and guess what we found? $10,000 a month in office supplies for a 6-person office, too much supply on his HVAC trucks for what they didn't use, which caused them extra trips to the store and back into town and buying from vendors without terms and wasting time no one was getting paid for, and gas. There was enough money there for a CFO and a general manager. Here's the thing. Hidden profit is already all over your business. You just need to find it. One place to start is look at industry benchmarks and compare yourself to the industry benchmarks and see where you are. Do you want to know where your business stands? Take the changes assessment to evaluate what buyers would think if they saw your books and your business today. Take the changes assessment at the link in the show notes. Subscribe and leave a review if you found this valuable. Share it with someone who may need it. And next week, we're going to talk about why most small businesses hire the wrong people and how it's costing them millions. Let's get you free from your business.